Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Welcome, everyone. Happy to see you all. Yesterday, someone said to me, I want to feel awareness. I want to know what awareness feels like. And I thought, this is a really good question. And I thought about it for a minute and I wondered, is there really an answer to this question? What does awareness feel like? Most of you know that I'm fond of saying to you or asking you, are you aware? And as soon as you say yes, I say, well, that points to the fact that awareness is here and you don't need to think about that. You just know. There's just a knowing. Yes, I'm aware. Yes, awareness is here. This type of awareness mostly is associated with the body mind, isn't it? Mostly you're saying, yes, I know I'm here because I hear, taste, touch, smell, think, and do things. So I know I'm here. And I know that I'm aware, more or less, during most of those activities. But this question that she posed was, how do I feel awareness? And she was really insistent that in order for her to experience awareness or to know she was aware, that this needed to be somehow felt in the body mind. And maybe some of you can relate to that. The error of this is probably just that if you are feeling some feeling or sensation, emotional or physical, in the body, while you are aware of the object of awareness, not of awareness itself. So as I thought about it for a minute, it finally came to me to ask her, look around you and tell me what you see. What can you see around you? And so she did. She looked around the room and she said, I see this, and I see this, and I see this, and this, and this. And then I said, yes. And also in this room, you can see this, and this, and this, and this, the things that she hadn't pointed out. She said, yes, I can see all of that. And I said, what can't you see? And she kept looking around the room, looking around the room. And after a moment, she said, I don't know. What can't I see? I said, your eyes. You can notice this right now yourself. Although we're looking at screens, and so you have the opportunity to look at your own thumbnail and see your own eyes for a moment. I ask you not to do that. You can look at the screen, you can see all of these other friends and devotees from around the world. You can see in people, you can see in your home, outside of your screen. You can see all sorts of objects, you can see everything. But the one thing you can't see is your eyes. And there will never come a time when you're not looking in a mirror that you can see your eyes. And yet you don't doubt their existence. They're a useful tool, and you are using them constantly. Whether it's your physical eyes or your mental eyes, you are using your eyes constantly to see the world, to interpret your thoughts, to see your thoughts, to feel your emotions. You are using some form of seeing, and you never question that. But it's not you that's doing that. That is awareness itself, experiencing the world that you inhabit. You can say you are inhabiting this world on behalf of awareness itself. It has no eyes, so it looks through yours. And through this looking, through this seeing, in some way it experiences itself. Of course, it's not a personality, so that's not exactly right, is it? But nonetheless, it works as a simile for this. And the senses are like that. The place we get lost with thinking we are not aware is that when we see something, we go directly out to the object. We like the object, we don't like the object, we start thinking about the object, it's pleasant, it's unpleasant, on we go. We're carried away by it, we're distracted by it, we're annoyed by it. All the while having forgotten that the reason we're able to see it is because we have eyes which we cannot see and an awareness which we cannot feel. But we trust our eyes because we can look in the mirror, we can touch them, we can feel them, they are physical, so we can actually appreciate that we have them even though we can't see them. But this works really well when we're asking the question, what is awareness? Awareness is not something you can do. It's not something you can see. You can't turn your mental eye inside and look around and find something that you call awareness. You can only be aware. In the same way that you cannot see your eyes. You can only be the seeing. Seeing all the objects in the world except the one that's seeing. Your eyes cannot be an object for you. Awareness is like this. Consciousness is like this. The interesting thing about this is, some of you have heard me say this before, is you can turn any one of the senses into a tool for inquiry. How do you do that though? It's actually fairly straightforward. Are you hearing a sound? I'm going to assume the answer to that is yes, because I'm speaking. Who is the listener? Or even more accurately, who is listening? Are you looking at your screen? You think you're looking at your screen. Your eyes are looking at the screen. Awareness is looking at the screen. But you don't notice that. You jump right over it and go right to the object, all the lovely faces on the screen. In the same way that when you hear my voice, you go right to the voice, right to the words, and you skip right over the awareness itself. But once you know this trick, you can turn every single experience throughout your day into the recognition of awareness itself. You can ask this question, who is hearing? Who is seeing? Now, who is touching, tasting, smelling, all the senses, right? Who is thinking? Who is feeling? Anything that's going on, who is experiencing? Who is meditating? Who is complaining? Anything that's going on in your momentary experience, by asking this question, who is hearing, who is seeing, who is tasting, who is touching, who is smelling, all of that throughout your day, you're constantly turning back toward that which cannot be seen as an object, but is known to exist through direct perception and direct experience. And if you have the time to be sitting quietly somewhere during the day, hopefully you do, for some period of time, if you simply fall back into listening, not I am listening, not that is a bird, that is a car, that is music, but rather listening itself. And you ask this question, who is listening? Without ever needing to answer it, without needing to describe what you're hearing. You don't need to say, this is a voice, this is a bird, this is pleasant, this is unpleasant. You simply need to rest in the empty space of awareness after the question, who is listening? Tasting, touching, smelling, meditating, suffering. This takes the inquiry from something you do in your private moments in the privacy of your home or your bedroom. And this one question, who am I? It opens it out into inviting in all of the experience that you encounter in any given time of the day during the waking state, or even during the dream state, and inviting yourself to look away from the object of awareness and back toward the object itself. So I just encourage you, though you don't know what awareness is, ask yourself, am I aware? Who is aware? What is aware? Where is awareness? Asking yourself these questions of inquiry helps you to come back over and over into the recognition that what is really happening here now is being, consciousness, and bliss. The reason this brings us back to the self, back to the supreme, away from the distraction, is because ultimately we come to see, by asking the question who, whether who am I, who is listening, we come to see that there is no I of any substantial quality. There may be a sensation, a feeling, that's related to the fact that we are here in the waking state, that we have a body and we have a mind, and we do have these 6 wonderful senses. If we stay in the senses all the time, we are distracted. There is no way to stay in the senses and not be distracted. So if we want to know who we are, we have to ask this question, who? Who am I? Who is aware? Am I aware? Who is listening? Who is tasting? Who is thinking? And we do this sincerely. And we sincerely look for where this sense of I comes from. But we do it in a quiet and gentle way, but we do it persistently. And if we know that something is a huge distraction to us, then we do it more persistently and more consistently. Who is distracted? Who is pulled away? This is a very common experience that everyone has, and we talk about it a lot here. People bring it up all the time. I had this blissful experience, this moment of peace and calm and tranquility, and the recognition of the self was there and it was strong. And now I'm here today and it's gone. My friends, who knows that? You become lost and distracted because you don't ask, who knows that? There's more interest in the distraction than the awareness. In this moment, I am distracted. As soon as you know you are distracted, you're not distracted anymore. As soon as you have clarity, you are back. Back here as that which is aware. You're back on your foundation. But this is not something you can do once in a day. Not if you want it to become a firm foundation. You have to do this throughout the day, throughout your experiences. You have to use even the smallest of your experiences. Many people come into spiritual life and are looking for these big explosive experiences that will transform their whole life in a heartbeat. But if you talk with people who've spent a lifetime understanding who they are, they can give very, very clear descriptions of all the small little moments in which they had to engage this inquiry. Every time this sense of I, me, mine, this desire to pursue something that has come to one of the sense doors or several of the sense doors, every time this comes up, the sages have engaged this question, who listens, who thinks, who wakes, who sleeps. You see, there's no end of using your experience to come back to that which is aware. It's not somewhere else. It's helpful if you have a quiet room and a quiet household and you live in a quiet place. But not living in a quiet place, not having a quiet household is not any barrier to you asking, who is having this experience? So I really encourage you to go through your day. Every time you hear a sound, ask yourself, who is listening? Look for that one, just even that long. You don't need to be distracted by this question in the middle of your work or in the middle of a conversation with your spouse or with your roommate or your neighbor. Just every time you remember, who is listening? Come to this one until this sense of there being someone dissolves. And you are here in every moment of your life as being consciousness itself. Notice that right now you know you are aware. It's a simple practice. It will transform your life, but not if you keep going back to your old bad habits. One of the big misunderstandings about spiritual life is that people think that if they spend 2 hours a day or 3 hours a day meditating or doing the inquiry or something, that life is going to transform by itself. So I'm going to sit on my cushion for an hour every day, or I'm going to do the inquiry for 15 minutes every morning and every evening. And in between, I'm not going to give a moment's thought to what it is I'm thinking. What is my behavior like? What am I doing? I'm just going to go on chasing my same old pleasures and my same old storylines. Well, my friends, that doesn't work. Some of you know that now. Ask yourself, what is that thing I don't want destroyed? I'll give up everything for the self, but not this, not this pleasure, not this food, not this behavior, not this way of thinking. If you understand what that is, then you begin to gain mastery over it. It stops controlling you. But know something. If you are serious about knowing who you are, then who you think you are right now, you are about to burn it down. Do you understand what I mean? You cannot say, I want to be awakened. I want to be enlightened, but I don't want anything to change. If you are serious about this, if you really are truly in your heart wanting your life to reflect your understanding as being, consciousness, and bliss, that which you think you are right now, it must burn down. If you don't want that, it's fine, but you should leave. Don't keep listening to these kinds of teaching unless you are ready to burn down. The phoenix does not rise out of the cool breezes of a tropical beach. The phoenix rises out of an inferno. Are you ready? I see a lot of smiles, but this is a very serious question. I'm laughing too. But you have to know what you're getting yourself into. And I know that almost all of you have made this choice. So let's burn.
Rishi,
Hello.
hi, sorry to bug you. I keep getting myself thrown out of the meeting. I don't know what I'm doing. But on this app, I keep fiddling with something and then I end up getting thrown out and having to join. This is the third time. But I wanted to say something talking about now, which is like spot on. Oh wow, yes, there's one here that this is hanging on to. It's that it'll burn like all the others have burned. There's nothing stands in its way, it just burns if you like it or not. So but the awareness came here yesterday was a very clear seeing that obviously there's no one here, that you are that awareness, watching this whole little play, all these little forms, empty forms, this little game. But even more clarity on that they were actually just thought forms. They were this mind creating them. So, like you say, as soon as you stop, the mind stops, attaching the thought cynicism, which was seen before. Yeah. When it all dies down, you start seeing. So it's just to let the thoughts simmer down, just ignore them, really. As I say, watch them. You'll notice there is a noticing here that there's a bit of a grasping, so you can see where the energies are still. So you can see where some of those thoughts is a little bit of a, but it's just to relax and let them. They will just exactly lose energy and fall
Let them
down.
float by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let them float by.
Yeah. So it's that. It's back and forth maintaining. Whoopsie. Okay, back. It tries to if it
Yeah.
if it identifies with the form again, but because it will fade. It's seen here. But it was very clearly seen. They were just thoughts. That was just down below. There was like a pool, and it was just the thoughts going, making this whole little, bullshit. It's complete thought forms, really.
Yeah.
The consciousness, by looking at it, is actually the light, is actually creating the picture. But as soon as the consciousness is pulled away from it, there's no picture, there's no light, there's no substance to the things. Anyway.
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Yes. Yes, I know that you've heard me say this before, so it's like I like the way that you put it, as soon as consciousness withdraws from it, because the way I've usually been saying to people is understand that if you allow if you allow awareness as attention to go out to any thought form, any feeling, any experience, any sensation, you are actually feeding it.
It looks like, yes, you can see, because it becomes light then.
You
It
can
becomes
watch it.
like what people think is real life, what you're seeing out there, color and real life. It actually gives it the actual energy. It becomes real. It becomes light. The rest of the thoughts just drift by and they sink, as you say, they rise and sink back. But the minute it's hooked one, poof, it's, there it is. But it's also, it's a reality. Just, okay, leave it. It's just going to simmer down again. So it's keeping the focus on your awareness helps that, because then you're looking at it from
yes,
that.
yes, except that, Honor, this brings us to that recognition. So from where you are now, it's important that you understand when you say bring your recognition to your awareness. Understand that you need to go beyond that, because as long as the form that you're using, or the tool you're using, is I am returning to my awareness.
Oh, no.
You won't come into awareness as being consciousness, because the you or the I will always stay there. So the image I like to use, which I think is good, is rather than the image, which is kind of a forceful image that you're using, of pulling back or turning away. It's really the image I like to encourage people to use is falling back, so that you just leave the object there.
Yes.
And there's just a gentle falling away from it that falls back into the natural state or the prior state, but doesn't try to do that using the I sense or the I feeling.
Yes, because I noticed if you have identified here that you, from this point looking back to this, you'd got it from the wrong angle. From here looking, So it keeps reverting to looking down at the body form, not trying to look back to awareness, because that's exactly, I definitely don't want to keep that energy motivated. All right. Thank you.
So that's to clarify that for everyone, not just to point that out to you. So thank you. That I appreciate that that description, and keep going. Please keep going.
Yeah, yes, it is.
You're not going anywhere, but
yes. No, it's all the form will eventually disappear. I mean, it's got its lifespan. I'm not worried about the form. It's to stay as to one that's watching the form. There we are. Yes.
Yeah, there we are.
All right.
Very good. Very good. in this form of inquiry that I'm encouraging people to use now, there's a lot more allowing than there is efforting. So there's a lot more relaxation involved. There's a lot more letting go involved rather than a strong degree of efforting. If there's a need for effort of some sort, that becomes fairly obvious fairly quickly. But this form of inquiry is really a much more akin to letting go than pursuing something. It's more letting go of whatever shows up in the recognition that what shows up is not who you are. It's what's passing through. Who you are is before what's passing through. As she was just indicating, it's the watcher, it's the witness to what's going through. Witness is not the full experience of the self. The witness is still a point of view, you can say, or a position that the dissolving ego is taking. But it's a useful position at a certain point in your practice or your understanding. That is to be firm in this witnessing position so that you come to see that you're not what's coming and going, that you see that all of the activity of the body and mind, all of the sensations, all of the thoughts, they are what is coming and going. And the witness is the one who sees them coming and going and then asks, who is seeing this? Who is witnessing this? And then this falling back can occur. Because now one's not even interested in maintaining the point of view or the position of being the witness. One loses interest in that and falls back into the original state, you could say, or the original presence, or the original essence. That which is here before anything else is known. Hello, Leonardo. Hello. Welcome.
Hello, Rishi. Thank you. All right. So first, I would like to report or tell you a bit about this beautiful habit that I feel is more established in my life, and is waking up, getting some water, and sit down in quiet, in silence for about, I don't know, 40 minutes, an hour, every morning, solidly. Maybe also sometimes at night or in the afternoon. And then I feel that this practice is just so powerful, and is informing or is having a positive influence over daily simple actions like doing the dishes or cooking. Yeah, now they have this quality of maybe mindfulness or more attention and more awareness is flowing into random, seemingly simple, unimportant actions. Now they have this beautiful color to them. So I'm very happy to say that.
Yes.
And then also out of this, let's say, beautiful state of peace and calmness that I feel that is growing more and more, this impulse, this call, longing for going to Tiru and visit you is coming more and more. And yeah, but apparently, because of my life circumstances, that is not like so easy at the moment, or it feels that some action is required, like some, let's say some work, some doer is required on my side. So, well, then the question comes, well, number one, is it really necessary, or is it beneficial for me to be in the presence of a master, physical presence, I guess I mean. And then number two is, should I just let it go and try to surrender, and because that seems to be like a bit too passive right now. Or shall I try to follow this call and try to take some action, to sort of pursue, you use this word, sort of pursue this sort of longing that I have to visit you. Yeah, that's the question.
Thank you for sharing. I feel that longing and I feel that devotion. And my suggestion, would you
Yes,
like a suggestion?
of course, please.
Continue what you're doing. Don't do anything outside of that. If there's a moment where it's important in some way for you to come here or to come and be with me, let that moment happen without you doing anything. Continue your daily practice. Continue your simple and peaceful existence. This is one of the most important, significant things that a contemplative person can do for themselves. In the tradition, there's always a lot of, sometimes there's a lot of emphasis put on pilgrimage and on the being with a master. But you are with a master. I know you are here. Know you are here. If you are to be here in Tiruvannamalai, let that happen by itself. Your destiny right now is to be where you are. Everything you need is there. Most importantly, you have the time for practice, for contemplation, for simplicity. These are the bricks of a firm foundation. Don't knock them over now. But be willing, if life says to you, now is the time, here's your ticket, here's your money, here's everything, it's all arranged to go, then do that. Enjoy and come.
Sometimes I also find myself praying. The last few weeks, I found myself, like before sitting, I found myself praying, saying, please, Father, help me to go to India, because it's something that I feel. But now I'm just
Yeah.
going to take your advice, because again, here I have these gorgeous life conditions that allow me to have a very simple lifestyle, to have a lot of silence, to be very simple, just, yeah.
So now use this this very beautiful prayer, but now understand the way in which the mind uses desire to disrupt what's happening in the contemplation, because the contemplation that your life is right now is a gift from the Supreme, from being consciousness. One of the hardest things to do when we have encountered peace is to stay there. And in the same way that we can chase a new car, or chase a relationship, or chase a career path, we can also chase a spiritual path, and it will be the same distraction, just with a different set of clothes. Because this is what mind does. So this is why I say, resolve to do nothing, continue with your peaceful, simple, contemplative life, with an open heart that says, when the time for that to happen is obvious, I will go. Because, because whatever you're praying to, life itself or whatever, the Supreme has commanded it and has arranged it. But in and of yourself, just continue with your simple way of being, with the life that you're living. Understand the gift you've been given. You can look all around you and see in the world and see millions of people who have not been given this gift of quiet contemplation. For some reason, from your good karma or whatever, you have been given this gift. So relax. Make good use of it. If something needs to change, it will. Don't cling to this. Everything changes. Everything changes. But for now, don't let the mind force you into a change. Even one that says, I need to go to India. You know. Live quietly and simply. Very nice. Hello, Diana. Yes, I'm coming over there. Just a second. I'm gonna get you on the screen here. Okay. Hello. Hello.
Namaste, Rishi.
Namaste, Ji.
I'd like to add something what you said at the very beginning of how do you feel the awareness? I would like to mention that this question that came through you, that what is aware is here now. This was somehow the turning point here. It was the turning point to really let go all the teachings I heard, all the masters I saw, all what I was connected with. And it was the green light here, the absolute green light.
Yeah.
That's all what is needed, really, to ask this question. And if I ask this question during the day very often, working in the garden or whatever, this comes very often. And it's always, it opens the total space. It opens everything. Yeah, it's like a gate opening, the door opening to another dimension somehow. Yeah, only this question, only the words, and because this is not it's not connected to the words, it's connected to something I don't know, to the divine, yeah, to the divine. I know, of course, yeah, I feel, of course, I sense it, yeah, but I couldn't describe it. I could never
Yes.
describe this
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
mind would grasp it. It was directly a very intuitive grasping that that's it. This
Yeah.
is yes, and I'm so grateful for this because sometimes it adds. Am I aware? And also Ramana's question, who am I? And
Yes.
is coming, and so it's connection between Ramana and Arunachala and you and whatever between all. It's all it's a connection from the divine, only. Yes.
Yes. Very nice. Very good. Yes. These reports that are coming more and more now are a testament, you can say, to the power of the inquiry in this form,
Yes.
this awareness which is here and now. Yeah. Yeah. This is having a profound effect for many people now. And so I'm clear that Bhagavan has offered this to us all to extend and open his basic question of who am I into a full understanding that's appropriate for this time among us, those of us who are here with these more modern minds. And of course, my mind is not so modern now. It's getting less modern all the time. But
And more simple, Rishi. And this is what I totally love. Totally love, I can hear your tapes, I can hear all tapes and so, and I thought I grasped it also, but now I hear it. I hear it. First time that I really hear it. But I want to give a chance to Lalita, so I stop. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, my dear. Thank you. Hari Om. Satsang.